know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm here with our guy, legendary tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how we doing, buddy?
What's up, my brother? How you doing? How's everything going with you? Doing all right?
Everything's great. Everything's great. And we obviously we had the post-game show. Very happy about the win. But with that, we JD and I got a little surprise for you guys for this week's episode. So we did a little interview with current Chiefs rookie tackle Darian Kinnard, straight out of Lexington, University of Kentucky.
Yeah.
That was a really great conversation, and you guys will see that in a second here. But JD, what do you make after talking to Darian?
Oh man, he's just a super guy. He's a guy that I know who's hungry for playing, who's very detailed in what he's doing, about getting better, about wanting to get on the field. And so when you have a guy like that, that's the reason we drafted him. And so we were fortunate to get this guy out of Kansas City. But no doubt about it, man, talking to him, man, just a wonderful, wonderful all-around guy. And so I love his attitude, what he brings to the table. He's the future for the Chiefs organization, no doubt about it. And so he gave us some good insight, man. It was a great conversation, really down to earth, intelligent guy, very sharp in everything he did. And like I said, man, he's a guy that likes playing football. And so that is going to put us in a great position. And I told him, I said, man, we can't wait to see him out on the field, like consistently, just kind of getting out there. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for this guy in the future for the Chiefs organization, having him here. And so,
yeah. And like we were talking to him, and most of our viewers and listeners know that we talked about him before the draft. And then once draft happened, we were so ecstatic to have him. And a lot of you guys don't know, but JD and I, we texted during the games and the draft. And that was when we drafted. It was like, we got him. And he fell to that, to where we got him. He wasn't supposed to go that late. He was supposed to be a day 2 guy in his draft that we saw. And we ended up getting him. So, yeah, hopefully he is the future right tackle of our squad, which I think he will be.
Oh, yeah. No, shoot. Look, our fortune, everybody is lost, seriously, to pass on this guy. And so, I know he's one of those where it chips on his shoulder. Hey, man, shoot, you got to look out for this guy, man. He's going to be an absolute star. And so, like I said before, man, it was just good talking to him and getting some great insight on the organization, just talking about some O-line stuff, which he really gave us some great nuggets on, technique, things that he's learning, the whole process of things, talking about some guys. So it was really a fun conversation.
All right. And right now we're going to toss it to our interview with Darian Kinnard. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
So far, transition's been good, honestly. Just kind of, it's a different feel, different vibe. You being the transition's a little different in terms of, mentally picking up things and how the game changes and, how defenses play things are just a lot more different than college. So it's just kind of picking that up. But so far, so good, man. having fun. Going day by day. I'm on active roster. In the building with some great guys. I got Orlando Brown, Joe Toney, and then I got some. We got some young guys in there too. So that just kind of helped me show me the ropes, and just kind of picking up from then. I'm still learning, still plugging and chugging, and just trying to figure out my way and figure out that niche where I belong. So far so good.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. There's some heavy hitters. So for sure, the ones you just named, and I think it's sometimes when you're a rookie, and I look at it so long ago, but it's always the same of just trying to, like you said, find your way. How do you fit, right? You're trying to find the pulse and the tempo of everything, right? And how the coach are evaluating you. What am I doing in practice? How much, and we overthink that sometimes. Like, dang, God, did I mess up here? And am I pushed down the depth chart or what? And so I'm sure, Big Red is giving you some feedback, and that's always good, man, from the head coach to give some feedback. And as long as they talking to you, that's all you need, man. That type of encouragement. You know what I mean? You know how it goes. So
man, those guys was great, honestly. I mean, Big Red, otherwise known as. He's a very funny guy. He's very cool. He's all about letting players be themselves, but locking in need be. When we got to punch the clock, we got to punch the clock. He's very fun. He'll joke with you a little bit, but even when camp was here, a while, not too far back, but feels like forever ago already. He was talking to me, kind of just checking in on me and letting me know feedback and some of the things he was seeing, and that helped on top of the coaching. And like you said, the tempo, the rhythm, especially coming into a Super Bowl contending team, it's a lot different. It's more different than I would say other teams. I mean, there's guys on the team. We got JuJu, guys from all over who've came in, and this was their first camp also at Kansas City, and they can just tell the environment. The tempo is different, like the whole attitude, the whole aspect of how we carry ourselves and how we attack every day is it's different. It's on another level. Yeah.
And look, I've been a part of two organizations. A lot of guys that have been in different places. I played with a lot of greats, a lot of Hall of Famers. But one thing about Kansas City, and I've always said this, you haven't met the original owner, but Clark. They're such a good family, just good-hearted, like family people. Like they, it's never like one of those things like you feel like you're downstairs and they're upstairs. It's always like a big family all the way together and inside the entire building. And so
they're always in the facility. The whole. And I've talked to Mr. Hunt plenty of times in the cafeteria. Like we're all interconnected. We all talk and we're all on the same page. Like everybody's involved. It's not, just like you said, it's not somebody on the top floor and on the bottom floor. It still doesn't take away from the fact, man, nerve-wracking trying to talk. Sometimes shaking a little bit. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want to say something that's gonna miss. I mean, they for real, are always in the building, always around good people. Always have that friendly energy. But when it comes down to brass tacks, man, it's about doing the best for this organization and just getting wins.
Yeah. So, and that's what I love so much about them, man. Their dad, Lamar, man, he would come in the locker room. He knew everybody's names. He knew your family. He knew what your parents was doing, what your brother was doing, how you played that game. And it was always words of encouragement. It was. And that's why I'm so thankful for, man, the Chiefs just being a top organization in the NFL. And so it makes it easy to go to work when you have a place like that. So now, man, without a doubt, a lot of guys don't have that opportunity, and they're fortunate to play, like you said, for a Super Bowl contender to come right in, just like immediately. It's like, man, I'm here. Like sometimes, the development to get to that place is a long road. Sometimes you just don't have the pieces. Sometimes everything just doesn't work out. But kind of getting thrusted into that position, like what's expected of you, right? It's like, hey, now you just kind of coming in here, you're gonna be a piece. Nah, when you come in here, and they got you because they knew what they were getting, and that's what like me and Marcus was talking about it, because I would just rave on you about your ability, And so, guys are talking, oh, he's going to play. I said, look, he's going to play tackle. I said, he's got great feet. He loves to go out there and just bash people. He loves to hit, and he's athletic. And I think sometimes when they see kind of big guys, they don't quite understand, what all you can do, right? Sometimes they just try to put you in a box. And so what I like about you, man, you kind of like this Swiss Army knife where you have that ability to switch up to play guard, center, tackle. You have that about you. And the more you can do, the better off you're going to be, especially in this league.
Yeah, it gives you, valuability, I guess. Lately I've been taking inside reps too. I've been playing from the right tackle all the way to left tackle. The only position I haven't really got reps at is center. But if it ever needed be, and I feel like I could do it. But I've been getting nothing but left, right guard, and tackle and left tackle reps at practice. Being out there for the show team and stuff like that, just working on technique and stuff. It's a good opportunity. It's fun. I enjoy it. Being a tackle is a little different in the NFL than college. In terms of play style and then also the type of athletes you go against. So my college, University of Kentucky, we were more downhill run team, and we could pass. The last year and a half, we were like, okay, well, we can't throw, but all up to that point, we were like, hey, let's run the ball. So my mentality, I have that guard mentality of, let's run. I'm completely up for that. But I also, like you said, had the athletic ability to drive back, pass set guys who are better athletes. But just being here, just in terms of new technique, new coaching. I think one of the best things I was told as a young player is to overcome good coaching.
That's good.
It doesn't mean that the coaching isn't good. It just means that you take everything you can from that good coaching and then apply it in a way that's going to best fit your play style and your mentality, how you process and evaluate through the game. So, I'm going every day into work with that mentality of, okay, overcome good coaching. Because, Coach Heck, he's been doing it. He's been in the league 32 years, man. Yeah. He's one of the best. So, just getting all that coaching and learning all these new type of techniques, and then, not really having that, I guess, I had just a blank slate of just ability. Yeah. I had technique, but it wasn't well formed.
Right.
And to KC, Coach Heck is just sitting there with a hammer and chisel, like, hey, bro, we're going to get this fixed out. So, just learning, developing new technique things. I knew nothing about an angle set, when I got here to the NFL, drop back, or it was a rollout play. So there was no angle setting. There was no, 45 degree. There was no jump setting really, that toolkit. So, just being able to learn that and then already be able to apply it to, guys like Chris Jones, every day at practice, it's very encouraging to me. And it's just very fun to do, whether I'm at guard or tackle. So, like I was saying, it's just the level change, and then what is needed at each level is just it's a big difference. But honestly, I'm enjoying it playing guard and tackle. Just learning the ropes and like I said earlier, just finding my way.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're better off for having you. Believe me. And I think you got a bright future here with the Chiefs. And I'm one of those, man. I'm a little biased. I'm like, look, his guys could push it right now to be a starter. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you just to see where your development was. I love everything that you're saying because I think people don't quite realize, like you were saying, when you're being refined, fine-tuning everything, the techniques on how meticulous it is, especially in the NFL, when you're sitting back and you're going against the premier pass rushers, especially this modern era, and the mixed bag of things that they have with them that comes with it, right?
Yep.
And so you're getting that work every day against Chris, which is that's the beauty of it. You're going against possibly the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Every single day, right?
Frank Clark, can't forget that man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Frank Clark. And so you probably been out there with Dunlap a little bit. Dunlap's probably, he's a little older head. He's probably like picking and choosing his reps when he comes in.
I mean, he's good to go against though, because he's a talker. So like I like getting some of that feedback because you take the old school. So that's what they do. They're like, all right, so when I come here, I'm gonna hit you with it. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, at least it gives me insight. It gives me insight, and then him being a older vet, kind of gives me that insight path to how the NFL works really. So it's definitely fun doing that.
Yeah. And the whole time I'm sure they telling you also too, like, hey man, I'm looking at this move, what could be wrong, and like you got to watch this too. And so that's what I love about guys helping each other, especially on a high level with a team like this. Can you kind of speak a little bit to the and I think now I kind of go back into this as well, where you're like me, okay? When I was playing for the Chiefs, we had 2 backs to rush over 1,000 yards, 1,500. We had 25 touchdowns with Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson. That's what we ran the football. With smash mouth, bully ball, put your cleats in the ground, come out the football, hit you in the mouth. Okay, and this is vastly different from that. I mean, and so when we seen Patrick having to pass, what was it, 68 times?
74, 75, yeah.
Yeah. So when I hear some, fans and people that critique tackles, oh man, they're not doing a good job. I said, you have no idea how difficult that is to pass set that many times in a game.
Against the person athlete than you.
Huh?
Against the person who's a better athlete than you.
Yeah, exactly. You're going backwards, they're going forward, right?
Yep. They run forward, we run 5, maybe.
Right.
A little different. I mean, I think in the league where we're expected to win 100% of the reps, but we're always the worst athlete. So it's definitely, and it's cutthroat, man. It's like, hey, you give up a sack or two, and especially if you're a young guy, your job's on the line, which is crazy because if you're a wide receiver, a DB, and you make a play or whatever, it's just part of the game. But when it comes to us, it's your job's on the line. So I just think it's a little crazy. We're not big boys. I don't think really have the statistical advantage on the O-line against guys, for 76 snaps, 75 asset. Don't have the advantage. I'm not saying that's just like, hey, doing the best you can, and when people try to critique and say whatever, I bet money they can't do it better. I bet money.
Yeah. Look, and my being primarily blocking tight end, and I was going out there, and I tell you, there was one guy that I had to go in a 2-point stance. I was just like, look, man, hey coach, I got to go 2-point on this. I'm seriously. And he's just like, all right, look, JD, do what you have to do. And so it was Robert Mathis. And so, Freeney was on the other side of it, right? And Freeney was the one who's getting all the hype and stuff, and not taking anything away from Freeney. But Mathis, because he was short and he had like a mixed bag of moves, spin moves. I mean, he was low. You know how it is. I mean, you 6'6", I'm 6'6". Trying to bend down to get your hands on a guy who's low is a tough thing to do, right? Because he's just trying to get up underneath you, right?
Yeah, they're coming off low, and we're already in a 2-point trying to kick back. They're already lower than them. So it's not a good leverage game for us, No. So
we don't like bending our knees. You know what I'm saying?
Tell you what, not a lot of people like squatting nowadays, man. I'm telling you. So you got to get used to it, I guess.
Yeah. And so that's what I like when you out there on that island, and doing it, like you said, statistically going against that is not in our favor, not in the tackle's favor. It's just not. But I love it because I know the mentality, because your warrior is, look, it's me and this guy in the phone booth. If one's coming out of here, it's going to be me. If anybody's going to win this battle, it's got to be me. And so I think when I appreciate it, because I understand with the tackles and the guards and whatnot, I played it, I know what it is. And so I when I'm giving guys grace by saying, look, man, you don't quite understand. When you're sitting over here saying, oh, he's terrible, or the O-line's playing. No, every O-line I know, offensive lineman, loves running the football. That's what they prefer to do. I don't know any lineman, at least I haven't met one, that says, hey, no, let's pass 75 times a game, right? Let's just pass 60. I'd rather do that.
You might find college, maybe. But shoot, most people want to run the ball, man. We like that. We like that mentality, getting toe to toe. Just finding out who the better man is. I mean, you might get got, might get on the other, but like whoever wins the battle, at the end of the game, you know who won. So I mean, we like the ball for sure. I mean, that's one of the biggest key things being here in the NFL. One thing at the organization right now is when we go into a game and we're passing a lot, it makes it more valuable that when we get a run call played, like a run call, like we gotta step it up right there. Like no matter how tired we are, no matter what quarter it is, no matter what down it is. If that play call is a run, like it's time to strap up and like make it go.
Yeah.
Because those now it's becoming more of the opposite back when you played. It's not like a drop back rarely. It's like you rarely run the ball. So now we got to make it go now, especially.
Yeah. And one thing I love about running the football is you just get those extra hits on those guys that slow those pass rushes down.
Definitely.
I tell them, like, look, man, you get a little extra something right here in the rib or that side of their hip. You know how it is. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna give them just that little extra.
Especially that confidence, man. It's a confidence thing. Like if we go toe to toe, I get a pancake, man. Like they're already in their head. I got that confidence to go out and play it. I can pass that, and I have more confidence than they do at that point. So it only helps. Like you said, bruising them up a little bit, get them on the ground. Like it helps when it comes to those pastime situations.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to talk to you about some of the guys on your team. You named JuJu, but talk about 15 in the huddle. And of course, 87. The tight ends a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Your man beside you. The guy that you're protecting, watching his back. Talk to us a little bit about him and those two actually. What you think, your perception of these two guys.
Okay, so Pat and Trav, at first like coming in. As a rook, I don't know. Quarterbacks are going to be. I talked to other guys. Some guys said quarterbacks were acting all high and mighty. Others were friendly, but I had no idea. So coming in, I was just like, all right, let's see what he's like. So now I've done both of those guys for a while. Honestly, like they're down to earth guys. They're fun. They like to cut up. They really just look out for each other and care for each other, and they love the game. They care for everybody on the offense and defense, man, because they know at the end of the day on Sunday when we all got to come together and get a win. I will say Pat likes to talk a little bit though. Like he likes to talk a little ish here and there, and
wow, okay.
He likes to talk. He'll talk your ear off though sometimes too. He's just and his mind's always going. Being a quarterback, you got to process so much. It's so little time. I guess his mind just doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
And then Trav's a really laid back guy. Being in the league for so long and what he's done, and in my opinion, I mean, probably not my opinion, but a lot of people's opinion, future Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
He's very laid back, very down to earth. It doesn't matter if you're somebody on the practice squad or somebody's been playing for 10 years. Like they treat you the same, treat you with respect, and y'all can cut up no matter what. Like he actually gives you time, pays you attention. Same with everybody. Yeah, everybody knows what we're in the building to do, and like you said, there's no first and third floor. Everybody's on the same floor. Everybody's got the same goal in mind, and that's winning on Sundays. So those are great guys to be around, great guys to have in the building, And I know Trav brings the energy. He'll make jokes here and there through meetings, and he'll be able to crack us. So just have guys like building big change.
Yeah. I wonder sometimes, man, if y'all been in like team meetings and when those guys are just blurt out something crazy, like, man, come on, man, what's like just like, here you go.
And we got a couple of them. I mean, Trav and Pat are one of them. I'll be honest. On Saturdays, not Saturdays, but sitting there on Fridays, go over like 2-minute stuff. And we watch plays from throughout the week of other teams that play, or like high schools or colleges that played. And sometimes they'll blur some stuff out, and we're all just in there cutting up sometimes, because sometimes they'll put in a college 2-minute situation that one of us were in, one of the players. So we just all have a good time. Give each other some crap here and there, but we just have fun. In that building, it's really just get to work, focus. But other than that, just enjoy yourself, be yourself, and let's get.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. Glad to hear it. Marcus, you have anything as far as ask?
You pretty much covered all the big topics. I did want to say, because you mentioned Andy Heck, who actually went to my high school, and when I was a sophomore in high school, it was like a big deal when we were going to the region championship, and Andy Heck sent an email to like wish us luck and stuff, and it was a huge deal for us. But the one thing about the Chiefs in general over the last since Andy has been there, is that our linemen usually can play all different types of positions. And before Coach Reed got there, we didn't really have guys who were like utility types who could play every position. Was that something when you got drafted? Was that like a conversation right out the gate that you knew that you were going to have to, like, they wanted you to prepare for all right guard, right tackle, left tackle, all that stuff? Was that something you were right away, like they told you, like, to be ready for that?
Going to combine, draft and everything. A lot of teams were talking to me about playing guard and stuff. But when I got drafted, I talked to Coach Heck, like he drafted me to play tackle. So, I knew personally, like during that training process, I took tackle and guard, like I did guard training by myself, kind of just like get the feel for it. And then also I knew only add value to myself and, in terms of helping the team out if I play positions, not just one. Because, the league is, anybody can get hurt. All I knew is if I could play multiple positions, I would help my team out. So, cross getting ready for when Trey went out was that next week I was getting heart rate, like focused solely because his backup was, and if something went down, I would have to go in. So like it just led to that needed to be able to play multiple. But Andy, coach, I want the coach. I don't want this going out and him hearing me say this in person. Coach Heck just told me, it's like they drafted me as a tackle. But as things were going along and just me being facility, I only know it's going to help me and help my team in the long run if I play multiple positions.
Yeah, like I said, man, that value of having that is just, you can't, overstate how important that is, right? And so, look, man, I'm excited. I can't wait till you get on the field, man, and show what you can do. Significant time, because I believe, and it's not taking anything away from the other guys. You understand that, but I believe, man, you get your shot and the opportunity when you're out there. It's going to be like one of those things, like, man, this, you know what? It's going to be hard to take him out of there. It's going to be hard. So, and it's just the competition of things, that's how it works, right? So, man, look, brother, I appreciate you coming on, and giving us some insight and stuff like that. Man, okay, there's always a question. Everybody's always asking. I'm gonna ask this generic question. about the barbecue joints and everybody goes to, okay? Because what I want to start doing now, because I never had a chance to do it. So obviously when I'm playing, I'm starting to try to come back a little bit more, and I want to tailgate. I ain't never tailgated out in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Yeah. So I want to do the tailgating, but what barbecue joint do you like right now that people's taking you to?
There's two that I've out here so far that I think was damn good. I can't remember the name of the other, but I remember one place was like Q8, I think.
Oh yeah, Q39.
Q39, yeah. Sorry, I can't remember.
Good spot. It's a good spot. Yeah, you on it?
39 is a very good spot. And there was another one I went to, but that was during like OTAs, so it was a little bit back. And I don't like to go out too much, so I'll be just in the house.
Yeah, I got you.
Sure, for sure. I think that I feel like the ribs are good, barbecue's good out here. Some places though, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a little overhyped because they're acting like it was for every place. There's only they were like, hey, Kansas City's known for barbecue. I'm like, hey, there's only like maybe 3.
Right.
I went somewhere else one time, and oh man, I was like, people are overhyping this.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to do like the tailgating, because I'm thinking, what everybody else is putting on their plate, on their grill. That's what I want to taste. I want to taste, the guy that doesn't have the store or the franchise, the one that's just been in the back, putting his hands in the coals himself. Hey, man, taste some of this. Try this out, right? That's what I want.
Be like, there's a couple people on the team that like to grill out. Like they really like to cook out. So I feel like you definitely will find some people out there tailgating that make really good barbecue. Because I think Q39 was more of like a competition style barbecue. Like you don't do no competition style. They might be able to pull that. I don't know. I ain't been out to a tailgate, so we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it should be a good time. I was supposed to come out this past weekend for Kimble Anders, and Kimble play together for like a year. But I plan to get out there in a couple of weeks, man. And so, shoot, man, I had to give you a hit or something like that, have a beer, something like that, maybe all season. I don't know if you're back here in Kentucky any. When you do, you got my number, man. Hit me up. Go get us something to eat. I know you said don't go out a little bit, but just a quick little,
Sure.
pop a brewski or something, So,
most definitely.
All right, my brother. Well, listen, man, appreciate it so much. Marcus, you have anything else?
No, you got it all. I appreciate you coming on, Darian.
Yeah, man, appreciate it so much, man. And you're just giving insight for everybody, just seeing it like a really good glimpse into what the Chiefs, who they are, what y'all want to be, how the whole organization is setting up just for you. And I know everybody, as far as the fans out here, are really anticipating for you to get out there on the field, man. They really are. So
thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We hope you guys enjoyed that. JD, pulling out the tricks out of his hat, out of the pulling his Kentucky roots to get that interview. So that was a great interview to get Darian to come on Chief Concerns. And hopefully we can get some more current Chief players at some point here, and also some past ones. We were in touch with a certain guy who was at the stadium last week. He may be coming on the show in the future. Kimble Anders, who is in the inducted to the Hall of Fame, so he might be coming on Chief Concerns in the future. So we got some things for you guys coming up here in the next few weeks. That was a great conversation with Darian.
Yeah, no, it's true. I hope everybody enjoys as much as we do. Like I said, man, you can tell he's just a good guy. He's a warrior out there on the football field. Just a really likable person, and guys like that, man, you just gotta celebrate, man. You gotta hold up and shoot. And if you get a chance to interact with a guy like that, man, you got to take it for everything that it's worth. Now, and then kind of talking about Kimble, getting Kimble out here, it'd be a great thing, man. And I played with Kimble, man, one of the nicest guys and talented guys that I have ever played with. Really. Matter of fact. He was the one that kind of introduced me when he had his Achilles injury. The very next year, he was coming out and he was getting the rehab on his Achilles, And so he introduced me to the Bikram yoga, like the hot yoga. And so I never done that before. And he was like, man, JD, man, I'm telling you, like, you sweat things out, you get more limber on those things. So he kind of showed me a pathway of like, a different way to take care of your body, getting healthy. And I always appreciate Kimble for that. Not only that, but just who he is as a person, what he gives back as a coach and as a player and as a teammate. Man, it's just outstanding. So yeah, it'd be great to have him on here, man, to have a conversation with him. Yeah, I missed this thing out there, man, last week. Wasn't really filling up like I should have, but that's my guy. No doubt about it. Real quick, shout out to, I wanted to say my mother. It's her birthday today. All right. Happy birthday, Ma. Happy birthday.
Mama Dunn.
Beautiful woman. Mama Dunn. That's right. Mama Dunn.
How old she turning? Just let the audience know how old she's turning.
She always says, a woman should never tell, but my mom's 88 years old. So God's blessed her for all that long and blessed us for having her. It's just a strong woman to have 11 kids, 11. I'm the youngest out of the 11. And so, just a warrior. Her and my dad, before my dad passed, had been together for, married, I think 36 years, I think. I'm trying to think where it was at, but, just loving, incredible parents, incredible family. But my mom is amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and meeting your whole family at your wedding, she raised all you guys right. You guys were fantastic, such a fantastic group. I can only imagine what it was like on Christmas mornings with all you guys together back in the day.
Well, thank you. I guarantee you, if we was acting up even at any time, she still get on us. She don't care how old we are. She still get on. What y'all doing? It's funny because, and this is just respect. Because me and my brothers, when we have like a beer or something like that, my mom get around, we all be to hide the beer, like, just kind of hide, or we'll push it over to one of the other brothers, like, hey, it's like, are you drinking that? Like, yeah. My mom just,
And actually, this is interesting. Actually, so I'm the youngest of 5. You're the youngest of 11. So this, it's a Chiefs show, but it's also a family show. So I want to ask you something, and this is something I got into a little spat with my brother this week. So I want your opinion on this because you're an impartial person on this. Okay. So Christmas time, and usually around Christmas time, we always discuss what we're going to get our parents for the holidays, just so we're never doubling up on anything.
Yeah.
So my parents, have an island and they have 3 stools. And they want to get rid of this. They want to get rid of the stools they have, and they wanted ones that, because the ones they have now kind of rotate, and every time you walk past them, they'll hit the island. And like my dad gets pissed off because the marble, he paid a lot of money to have the island top. He doesn't want anything chipping off it, so he wants just the static ones, the ones that don't move. So my brother, like last year, had gone over measurements with them, and like what kind of stool they need, the measurements need to be for it. Nothing would happen. They still have the stools. That was like last year. They still have the same stools that they had. And so I go over to my parents' house last weekend, and I was like, are you guys ever gonna get the stools, or like what's the deal? And my parents like, oh no, we never got them. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, let's look over which ones you'd want. So we go online, we go to Bed Bath & Beyond's website. We end up finding the stools that my dad liked and my mom, get greenlit. And I was like, okay. I was like a Christmas gift. And they're like, yeah, great. That's great. Done. So I text my brother, the one who looked at it a year ago with my parents.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I was like, just went over there, got stools for mom and dad. So like, just, because I know they haven't gotten no one's gotten her a gift yet. So I'm like, hey, like, got stools for mom and dad. That's what I'm getting. So just make sure you don't get stools. My brother loses it. Says I knew that he had done this work on the stools, and I'm taking the gift that was his idea. And from now on, he's only going to get his parents gift cards because he doesn't want his ideas stolen from him and stuff. And he says, I did it, not maliciously, but he says, I knew that he had done the legwork on the stools and whatnot. A year ago, no stools have been purchased. I haven't heard of the whole stool thing. How am I supposed to know if that was his idea or not? I just thought maybe you're just helping mom and dad figure out what kind of stools they want or the measurements. How am I supposed to know that? So I'm going to ask you, JD, am I in the wrong for stealing the stool idea?
Oh my gosh. Simply things. This is simply stuff that we go through. Are you wrong? I wouldn't say you're wrong because you're like, hey, it was a need, right? Somebody was supposed to get him. Nobody got him. So let me go ahead and get him. So either he forgot or, so now it's done. You don't have to worry about it. It's finished. And he's livid. Like you said, he's just, I can't believe it took the. It's like, well, what would you expect? Are you waiting for 5 years? When was it going to happen? Like, how much research do you need to do? Like, this is done. You can still get something else, right? You don't have to, regulate just to doing gift cards now because you felt somebody stolen your idea. Like, come on, man. Let's not be that petty. We ain't going to do that. Brothers and sisters, like, for real. I don't know, man. It's, siblings do things like that. Siblings do things like that. Oh, I can't believe look, and I got to live. I can tell you stories, man, but I love each and every one of my brothers and sisters, man. But there's been some things that you just like, what are you doing? Like, come on now. That's how it is. That's how it is. So look, I'm going to say you're not wrong because you're the youngest. Okay. You're not wrong. All right. The youngest got to stick together, brother.
Yes, sir.
They always feel like we're spoiled and all these different things. And right. They always get on it because we're the baby of the family, get whatever you want. Hey, man, we are seldomly wrong on anything. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty balanced when we do things.
Exactly. And I knew you'd understand that whole story there.
Yeah.
But I was like, I gotta ask, I gotta tell JD about this. I want to hear as possible. It's like you have a month and a half till Christmas. There's plenty of time to think of an idea. You don't have to resort to, like you said, you don't have to resort to gift cards. But yeah.
Was he whittling the stools himself? Is that what he was doing? Like, was he building the stools himself? Right? Like it's.
And I understand if he already bought them, but no stools been purchased yet. Like nothing.
Right? Yeah. Right. Just
his main argument was that I didn't message him before buying the stools to say, "Hey, I'm getting the stools," knowing that that he had done the research on it last year. I'm like, what? I was like, no, I was with mom and dad. My dad said he wanted stools. We looked online. We found the ones he wanted, and that was it. I didn't really think much more than that. Right.
Now he may have a point there. Now I'm not going to fault him on that because maybe like a courtesy call, like, hey, listen, I'm getting mom and dad stools. I know you said you was going to get some stools. Like, where are you at with everything right now? Right? I'm like, are you in the garage or the workshop? Pulling away, getting the stools together because I don't want to get stools if you're halfway done with them, right? Yeah. So I get that part. I do. I understand that, but you also took care of it, so he shouldn't feel like. Incensed, like, the audacity. Why would you, come on, like, lighten up, right? Find something else to do. It's done. It's taken care of.
Exactly. Okay? And my dad wants to have those stools out as soon as they come in. So like he said, it's a Christmas gift now, but I want it now. Like that's why we did it now. And like so, yeah. my brother's upset by that, but whatever. Okay, so with talking about Christmas gifts and all this stuff, we're, as we promised last week, we're gonna do another giveaway of our GLD Shop necklaces. Our guy Clarence won it last week, so this week we did another shuffle with it. And this week's second GLD giveaway winner is Demetria McGarity. Demetria has been with us for a little bit. She's been a big fan of the Chief Concern show, I believe all the way from Texas. So for Chiefs picks from listening to us all the way from Texas. So Demetria, we hope you enjoy the necklace, and we'll be reaching out to you back in your address. So congratulations, Demetria.
Congratulations, Demetria. Show that bling off. Take a picture of the bling, put it out there. Looks good. So it's a wonderful present. This is, something that people can get, like you said, for Christmas, right? Christmas is coming around the corner. This is a beautiful, piece that you can give to someone. No doubt about it. If you want to do a, stocking stuffer or whatever, or just, put it under the tree with a big old bow and do that. So.
Yep. And with that, with the GLD Shop, working with us for the holiday season, you can go on the GLD Shop website and use promo code Chief Concerns, one word, for 33% off any purchase. So we hope you guys enjoy Demetria, we hope you enjoy the necklace, and Clarence as well. So Yeah. The giving season, man. I love this time of the year. I love the fall, but I also love like once we get into like, the giving season, Thanksgiving, giving back to, the community and then also giving back to our parents, like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wonderful things. Wonderful.
Okay. So you guys got a little taste of the interview with our guy, Darian. Now we're going to kind of talk about a little bit some of the things that we saw on Sunday, things that I guess the aftermath, like with the hot takes, the reactions, the overreaction Monday type stuff. So this is one thing we kind of mentioned it with Darian, the amount of dropbacks that Pat had on Sunday. Second all time as far as passing attempts in a game. First all time was Drew Bledsoe at 70 back in like 94, I believe, which is kind of crazy. 94 throwing 70 times is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
They must make it shellacked, I think. The only time I throw 70 times back in the early mid 90s, you're probably getting shellacked.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it.
So my question is that the big thing that I've seen a lot of different talking heads say is that we're putting too much on Pat's shoulders. And my counter to that is he's a $500 million man. So like, nothing's too much for this guy. Like sometimes, Kobe, LeBron, Iverson, Jordan, all the best have to put the team on their back at some point and will them to victory. And that's what Pat did this week. So my question is to you, JD, do you think we are putting too much on Pat?
You know what? Actually, I do. I actually do. I really do. And for the simple fact, not saying that he can't do it. All right. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability and he can't do it. I don't want us going into where all of a sudden we are putting everything on his shoulders, because he is a $500 million guy and he is what the Chiefs go through. And so the more he runs, like I said, the more he gets hit, the more that you are hurting that our investment, that our Superman. You're hurting this guy. And so I don't want to put that much emphasis, especially when you got guys around you that have the ability to take some of that weight off his shoulders. And so, we know he could get the ball out, 70 times, 60 times. He could throw it, he has the ability to do it. What comes with that is, like I said, the pass rush. It comes with the running, it comes with the sliding, it comes with the hits. Everybody's they're not going to play clean. There's going to be guys that are dirty. The guys are going to hit him. They're going to hit him after the whistle. And that's what I don't like. I don't like, at least, being in a position for something like that to happen. That's the only reason. And so does he care? I know he doesn't care. He would do it. I know he'll put it on his back. And when guys aren't making plays, he's going to make a play. And it's good for him to go out and make plays. I'm just saying, like, you know what? I'm sure other guys like, look, you know what? Pat shouldn't have to have everything on his shoulders. It shouldn't have to come to that. And so, hey, give me the football, hand the ball off to me, or somebody like I'll get open, Pat, throw the ball to me. And so guys may have to check themselves like, look, man, we need to help out a little bit more than what we're doing. They're not saying guys are slacking. I'm not saying that at all. But you just want to make sure, we're not in that position where he is throwing the ball 60-something times or running the ball 10 or 15 times for the first down. I don't want 15 doing that. I want him to be here as long as possible. And I hate to see something happen like, what happened to Josh Allen. So many things in football to happen was different from the NBA. NBA is a different sport. It's not as physical as football. And so, yeah, LeBron could go put it on 35 for the night. Well, he's just shooting jumpers, right? He's going in the paint. He'll make a business decision. Maybe he shouldn't go in the paint that much, and he won't. So he'll pull up for, 15-footer mid-range. So that's why it's different from the NBA when you're talking about guys like that as opposed to like NFL. Because you start thinking about quarterbacks that put things on their shoulders, like Cam Newton, right? You start wearing a guy like that out. You don't want like a guy Mike Vick to start getting hits. And so when you start seeing things like that, you want guys that are your value getting hit. I think that's why when people were talking about Lamar Jackson, him, hey, look, you know what? He's going to put it on himself. He's going to bet on himself. Yeah, that's cool, but there's no guarantee that he's not going to get hurt. So that's why you should go get the money first before anything else, right? It's just a business decision. It's a better business decision than that. And that's how I look at it. So do I think that we utilizing him too much? I just don't want us to do that. I don't think we need to do that, especially with the core group of guys we got around him. Long answer, but there it is.
Oh, that's a beautiful answer. I mean, and also it ties into other things we've talked about, the running game. You have a running game, you don't throw 68 times a game.
Right.
And then it also takes all the pressure off the tackles, which we talked about in that interview with Kinnard, that they're not having to drop at that, going to blocking, pass protection 68 times a game. Because I mean, chances are you drop back 68 times, there's going to be a lot of sacks, which, I mean, that's going to happen when you drop back 70 times.
It's going to be a lot of sacks. There's going to be a lot of guys pushing on each other's legs, just following each other's legs all the time, man. It's just when you get into that, when especially the integrity of a pocket and it collapses, man, there's a lot of things that can happen in that. It just can. And so, like you said, you're putting those tackles on the island that many times. Shoot, guys, it's not necessarily reasonable to think that a guy's going to be perfect playing tackle, when he has to pass block 70-something times a game. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just not, I know playing that, it's a hard business. It's a hard, like, when Kinnard was talking about, man, statistically, it's not in our favor. These guys are going forward. We are going backwards. We got to be perfect on every little thing to try to do. Not saying the guys are not, worried about that, but it does come into play. You got to understand, what you're doing. So,
yeah, and hopefully the running game gets figured out at some point. But that's when we beat to a pulp with that.
I know it, but we keep saying it until it changes. I mean, and I don't think they'll incorporate a little bit more. I think they know that they have to incorporate a little bit more. I'm sure they're talking about it, that they have to do it. So I think maybe in the next few weeks, this week against Jacksonville will be a great game to try to establish the run, right? Try to get back into a little bit more of that, incorporating some of the run plays, coming downhill and coming off the football against this defense.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who comes out as the maybe not the guy who gets the most snaps. Cause maybe this played into it. The fact that we dropped back 68 times, the fact that McKinnon was the number one guy by a large margin between Pacheco, McKinnon, and CEH, who got the most snaps. It was McKinnon, Pacheco, then CEH. Maybe, I don't know, maybe CEH gets the chance at the being the main guy again. I don't know. They had to figure something out.
Yeah, well, McKinnon's in there because he's a better pass blocker out of everybody. So that's the reason he got the majority of the snaps. Pacheco, when he started out, it looks good, and some of the things that he was doing. CEH should I come in, and I know it's hard to get into like that rhythm when you're not doing it all the time. You're not that guy all the time. And I think it's where it's different. So guys got to almost like, look, I know I'm only going to have like 10 snaps at this. And so when I got to make the most out of my 10 snaps, not that I'm overthinking it, but I just got to make sure that I'm running hard. I'm getting yards. I'm not stopping, because I'm not getting 20 carries a game. If I'm getting 8, it's making the best 8 I could possibly do. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're seeing that across the league. It's like, I see some people that comment on our running game, the fact that like, oh man, well, no one's getting a rhythm because each guy's getting 3 carries, and like, yeah, 3 carries, whatever, but like that you need to get someone 15 to 20 carries. Like, yeah, that's great and all, but like that's not where the league is anymore. I mean, there's like, I think only one team I see really does that right now. It's a rookie, the Dameon Pierce. I mean, he's the only back I think. Well, and Henry too. So Henry and Dameon Pierce, the only ones I'm seeing who are getting like 20 plus carries this year. Right. Taylor was last year, but Taylor's been hurt a lot this year. So I mean, it's just moving away, like kind of what you and Darian said. It's just totally different from what it used to be. We have to kind of get that like out of our heads because that bell cow running back's pretty much done. That's not happening.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a balance, right? You look at like Josh Jacobs is getting that. He's getting some carries. Eckler's getting some carries. Of course, up in Green Bay, you had Aaron Jones and Dillon is getting some carries, and so. You see certain teams that are saying, okay, look, we can't abandon this all the way. Even if we have a good pass catching back, then we're going to do that too. And so, shoot, Cleveland, right? I mean, they really have no choice, but they got to, Chubb is killing it out there. Yeah. When Kareem comes in, it's just a good, good combination of guys.
Yeah.
So there's still some guys that run in the league. It's just, just where our offense is. It's just kind of, but it's like, we don't want to be too much of one thing, right? Like, you just don't want to be too much of one thing. It's what, like, Tennessee is too much of one thing. Like, Derrick Henry, you stop them, now you put it on Malik Willis or Tannehill to beat you in the passing game. If they don't have the receivers, then okay, then that's a whole different thing. But
yeah, it's funny actually you mentioned that game Sunday night epitomizes two different types of offenses. One is the total opposite end with the running style, and then you have the total opposite end passing style. Like,
yeah,
crazy that was just so different.
Right.
All right, so one of the other things that came out of Sunday was Kadarius Toney. He played. Everyone was surprised he started out in that game, and he did, and got a catch right away. Well, the big thing that I've seen, and I wanted to ask you this, what your opinion is on this, because you've been in NFL locker rooms, you've seen the new guys come in, you've seen the new guys try to be implemented right away when it comes to a new offense. But the big thing I'm seeing is people are starting to question Skyy Moore's development. So Kadarius comes in. He gets the first catch. He had to get 2 catches in the game. Whereas Skyy Moore in all the games he's played this year only has 6 catches for the year. Do you see that do you think Toney's usage kind of tells us a little bit about Skyy Moore's development?
I mean, not necessarily. I think what Toney brings to the table is a very distinct skill set. And so you get a guy, you trade for him, you want to utilize him because he has that ability. He has the skill set to do these things. And so Skyy Moore, look, he's going to be here. We drafted him. He's going to be here. So it's like, hey, look, let him still learn. He's still developing, right? It may take him longer, but he may be there. But we know with this offense, one guy might get 6 catches and another guy might get 2. He might not get a carry. Then all of a sudden he gets 8. And so we knew this is what this offense is going to look like this year. So I don't really look at it too, as anything else other than saying like Kadarius Toney and Skyy Moore is 2 different type of players. That's how I look at it. And so if we want to utilize Kadarius Toney's, his ability, then we're going to do that. So that's why we brought him here. So I think McColl's a little banged up. I heard he had a little something with his abdomen. I don't know. So if this is something like, it's ideal that you got a guy who's been in the league for a couple of years, right? Who's learning, who's got this skill set, come help out.
Interesting. So you don't see those two, like, you see their skill sets being completely different. Like next year, ideally, you have them both on the field at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. I don't think they're the same guy at all.
Yeah. I
think Skyy Moore is one of those guys who he's more crisp in his routes. He does a good job. I think he's good. He got good hands, and he's just going to get better. So I think Kadarius Toney already has that year up underneath his belt, right? First round pick. Shoot, just utilize his skill set. Toney has a year up on that experience on doing those things.
Mm. Yeah. And some of the counter arguments to that, because I've seen a lot of people were saying, well, Toney, we brought him in. There's specific packages just to showcase him a little bit, the new toy that we got. But Skyy Moore's been in the system all season, but he's only managed to get you 6 catches, whereas Toney comes in right away and it's almost like, cut what Skyy Moore did in half already in one game's play. But it's just there's people looking for things to hate on, I think.
Yeah, man. Shoot, with this offense, man, anybody can come and eat.
Yeah, 100%.
For real.
Yeah. And then I don't think we really mentioned this in the post game show. Noah Gray's catch at the when I rolled that. Woo!
Phenomenal, man. Yes, sir. I see you 8-3. Go good. Go get it. Go get it. Him and Chad both had pretty good catches. Track caught one behind him. Mm-hmm. Snatched it right out of the air, man. It's how you pluck it. Pluck that ball out of the air. So yeah, tight end showing out, coming in.
Yeah. Actually on that play too, because we talked about the 70 passing attempts and how that could, Pat could get, we're putting him in harm's way a little bit. On that play that he threw to Noah Gray, you look at it, Simmons, he dives right for Mahomes' knees. Luckily, Mahomes does that little hop step thing where he gets out of the way when he throws the ball. He moves to left, but Simmons was going right. Carson Palmer-esque type knee injury could have been if Mahomes stayed in that spot.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. You just gotta watch it. You gotta protect him too. You know, sometimes you had to protect him from his own self. Like, hey, man, look, okay, get out of bounds. No need for you to run. If you see anything, you know, go ahead and throw it out, whatever you need to do. But that's what I'm saying. Like when, you know, the more that you're putting in his hands to do these things, the more he's susceptible to injuries and things like that. I just don't want to do that. That's me personally.
Yeah, no, I think most everybody is with you. I mean, some people who aren't Chiefs fans who are fantasy fans of Mahomes, I'm sure they disagree with you because they like Mahomes dropping back 70 times a game to get them more points in fantasy.
Dude, hey, look, I got Mahomes on my fantasy. I like for him to get the points, but hey, man, he could get them with 40 throws.
100%. And with you know, without putting him in harm's way, you get him for the rest of the season, hopefully ride you to the fantasy championship instead of, you know, throwing 70 times getting hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah. Better to have him than not have him at all.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, so Sunday we're going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's coming to town. Doug EP, our old offensive coordinator, your old teammate in Philly, the head coach over there in Jacksonville, of course. So Jacksonville, you know, they got some exciting. They're a young team, you know. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, who's come on as of late since they got rid of James Robinson, Christian Kirk, who they overpaid for in the offseason. A lot of people said he's playing amazing this year. Gonna be interesting to see when they have Calvin Ridley next year with Calvin Ridley and Kirk. I think they're gonna be a fun team to watch. But yeah, their main thing has been pretty much their defense as far as the season. I think they pretty much rank about halfway in all categories, but top 10 in points allowed. They have only their teams are only averaging 18 points a game against them so far this year. So you know they're playing good ball. And obviously they're a young team still, so they can't close out games. I think I've seen a couple games where they've lost at the end. Like the Denver game in London was a big one. They had that game the whole time. My question is, what are things you're looking for against Jacksonville in a young defense like this?
I mean, you know, it's you know, you got to stop that at runner. Etienne, man, these suckers he's been toting the rock. So you know, we've talked about that we're giving up some yardage running the football. So we definitely got to stop him. Christian Kirk is a great receiver. Zay Jones is a good receiver also. Yeah. So it's going to be a nice little challenge. Doug's going to throw some things out here. He's a you know, a product of Andy and that coaching tree. So they're being very familiar. They're going to know as far as like what they're running, what it looks like. I think, man, with our young guys, it's going to be a good challenge for them. Some good receivers they're going up against. And I think the more so the point is you stop their running game. And then you try to get those guys, keep them in front of you. Don't let them get deep on you. And, you know, you should be able to beat them. I think, sure, I don't know what the weather's going to be out there in Kansas City, but, man, going from Florida, where they got the hurricane down there now. So they're going to be happy, but still might have a little chill. You know, I don't know. Man, you know, might be a little breezy out there for them. So hopefully that'll lay on them some.
And that's a 1 o'clock start, too. So that's going to be I'm going to see real quickly what the weather is. Sunday, wow, 42 degrees on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Winter is here.
Get on them, breeze. Get on them.
You know, they'll be coming out in their long sleeves of thermal wear.
Yeah. We used to love when we played San Diego like that. You see guys all the long sleeves. Oh, yeah, man. All that softness. We got them.
Oh, man. Well, I'm sure there were some guys on the team that, you know, like the Jared Page types, a guy who was from LA who came out to Kansas City, was not ready for that winter. Yeah,
no. But they adapted. You know, they had no choice. They had to adapt. So they kind of got into it. But when you got a team that's in a very warm climate and then have to come out to a cold, that's a whole different trip all in itself.
Yeah. I saw a funny thing because, you know, Buffalo's that they're getting a new stadium in the next coming years. I guess one of the pictures that they saw, because, you know, it's not, they're still developing it. So it was like one of those like pictures. And someone on Twitter was like, is that a retractable roof? Someone's like, yeah, I believe so. Like, hell no, it's Buffalo. We're going to use that element forever. We're never going to have a retractable roof.
Well, you don't have to play in it, buddy. You still have a retractable roof and keep some of the code in there if you wanted to, but oof. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So I think places like Buffalo, Kansas City, New England, those are places that have to keep that, like, that element. Cause that's one thing we have, you got the winner, they got the chills of the winner. Whereas like teams like Jacksonville, they got to come up there in the playoffs. You're going to like, that's a new world for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So final topic, Chiefs hosting Jacksonville, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, start time. And I think it's our second 1:00 game on the season. I think it's the first 1:00 game we've had in Kansas City this year.
First?
I want to say so. Arizona was 4:00 away. Second game was Thursday night game, San Diego. Third was the 1:00 game in Indianapolis.
Okay.
We had Buffalo. That was 4:25. We've had a lot of primetime games.
Yeah.
That's crazy. At this point of the season, man, it's nuts. But anyway, so 1:00 start time, Eastern Standard Time. Jags coming off a big time comeback win against the Raiders, and the Raiders are they're in that's a disaster over there. But 3-6 in the season so far. Chiefs opened up as a 10-point favorite. It's now we're a 9.5-point favorite right now as it stands. Who do you have on Sunday, and what's the overwhelming reason for that?
Let me see. I hadn't really thought about as far as what they were going to get point wise, but I'm gonna give them. I think the Chiefs hold them. I'm gonna go on the low end with this. I'm gonna go 13-28.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Garbage time touchdown for Jacksonville. How do you have that 13 happening for them?
So what, we got a touchdown, then we got a field goal, then another field goal. So I don't think they'll have one touchdown and 2 field goals. That's why I'm looking at 13. 28, we'll score 4 touchdowns. May not wow them, but we'll win, pretty handily.
And cover the spread.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like it. I think last week, most people had the Chiefs winning by you. I think you had us winning by 17 last week. I think most people had us killing that game, and then obviously the overtime win. So yeah. I think we're due for a big one. But as you said, this is a disciple of Andy Reid, so he may know some of Andy's tricks up his sleeve. So
I'm sure there's a lot of deception or trying to do things and throw you off here and there.
Yeah. It'll be a fun one nonetheless for Doug and Andy and for us as viewers to watch. But that does it for us. And we hope you guys enjoyed the episode, the Darian Kinnard interview, and then JD and I, going over the what's to come this weekend. So we hope to see you guys after the show or after the game on Sunday for our post-game show with our guy Lance. So we'll see you guys Sunday.
Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.